Adults talking. In Avengers Infinity War, Tony Stark is focused on rescuing Stephen Strange, who has just been kidnapped by one of Thanos' henchmen. He heads alone toward the enemy ship, or at least that's what he thinks. In the middle of the chaos, Peter Parker finds a way to follow him, completely ignoring the orders to stay out of it. During a moment when Strange and Tony are arguing, Peter tries to join the conversation, but with that sarcastic attitude only he has, Tony says,
"Unlike everyone else in your life, I don't work for you."
And due to that fact, we're now in a flying donut, billions of miles from Earth with no backup.
I'm backup.
No, you're a stowaway. The adults are talking.
The scene is simple, funny, and natural. And it gets even better when we find out it was a completely improvised comment by Robert Downey Jr. Quiet, Agent. In Black Panther, Agent Everett Ross is used to being the one in charge. But in Wakanda, especially in the Jabari territory, he quickly learns that it means nothing. When he tries to explain the situation with Killmonger, he speaks to the leader M'Baku as if he were the one in control. Bad idea. M'Baku doesn't waste any time. He and the Jabari warriors start making a loud, almost primal sound, a chant inspired by the gorilla, their spiritual symbol. The intensity of the sound fills the room, and Ross simply shuts up. The intimidation works perfectly, making it clear who's in charge.
Well, Your Highness, the new king is a U.S. The new king.
The coolest part, that chant wasn't in the script. Winston Duke, who plays M'Baku, improvised the idea on set. He wanted to highlight the tribe's connection with the gorilla god Hanuman and make the scene more authentic. The result was so good that it made it into the final cut and became one of the character's most memorable moments. Hot sauce. In Hawkeye, Yelena Belova breaks into Kate Bishop's apartment, and after the chaos, the two end up sitting together eating instant noodles. The scene already had a light tone, but Florence Pugh turned it into something totally unforgettable. What nobody expected? The hot pepper sauce. After Kate tosses the sriracha bottle to Yelena, Pugh suggested that the moment shouldn't stop there. The character should actually use the sauce on her food. She herself, a fan of spicy food, had fun pouring the sauce and swallowing big amounts during several takes. The improvisation added a simple but memorable detail that shows a fun and human side of Yelena.
Yes.
Get help! In Thor Ragnarok, the get help scene is pure comedy from start to finish. Thor and Loki try to capture enemies, but Thor decides the best tactic is yelling, "Get help!" and running ahead, a strategy they already had.
Hey, let's do get help.
What?
Get help.
No.
Come on, you love it.
I hate it.
It's great, it works every time.
It's humiliating.
Do you have a better plan?
No.
Director Taika Waititi encouraged lots of improvisation on set, and the result is obvious. Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston explored the brothers' relationship since childhood, playing with Thor's and Loki's exaggerated personalities. Loki complains, Thor doesn't listen, and the situation becomes absolute chaos, but hilarious.
Get help! Please! My brother's dying! Get help! Help him!
Tom Hiddleston revealed this was his favorite improvised scene, mainly because of the playful moment and the freedom they had to mess around with the characters. Last words. In Avengers Infinity War, Peter Parker has one of the most emotional moments in the MCU. During the battle against Thanos, he starts to disintegrate in Tony Stark's arms, and the audience feels the full anguish of the scene.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Spirit, please. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
The words, "I don't want to go," were not in the script. Tom Holland improvised them completely, but Joe Russo's direction was also essential. He simply asked the actor to act like you don't want to go. Holland turned that instruction into dialogue, creating a genuine and heartbreaking moment. Holland's performance perfectly captures Peter's desperation and innocence, making the scene even more powerful and impactful for viewers. Why Gamora? In Avengers Infinity War, Drax hilariously steals the moment while trying to butt into a conversation between Tony Stark and Peter Quill, lying right under Tony's foot to top it off.
Where is Gamora?
Yeah, I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora?
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
The iconic line wasn't in the script. Dave Bautista improvised it after a few days of filming, fully embracing Drax's literal and funny personality. The only lines in the script were Tony's and Peter's. Everything else came from the actor's spontaneity. I love you guys. In Spider-Man No Way Home, the appearance of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire alongside Tom Holland is one of the most epic moments in the MCU. Having the three Spider-Men on the same set was surreal, not just for the fans, but especially for the actors themselves. And in the heat of battle, Andrew Garfield spontaneously said,
Do this. Ready? Wait. I love you guys. Thank you.
The coolest part is that it wasn't in the script. It was something he wanted to say right there from the heart, as a way to celebrate working together and the historic moment they were living. Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland's reactions are genuine, showing surprise and happiness at the same time. The improvisation brought lightness to a scene full of action and emotion, making the moment even more unforgettable.
We love you. About time. I've been waiting months. I've been waiting months since that day in Atlanta.
Casual entry. In Thor, The Dark World, there's a simple scene that ended up becoming an interesting detail. When Thor arrives at Jane Foster's apartment, he walks in casually like a regular visitor. Without thinking twice, he holds Mjolnir and hangs it on a coat rack, as if it were just a regular umbrella. This detail was completely improvised by Chris Hemsworth, who decided to have fun with the situation. The result was so good that it stayed in the final cut. Kevin Feige later said that moments like this were key in inspiring the lighter, more humorous tone of Thor Ragnarok. Fury checking. In Captain Marvel, Nick Fury delivers one of the funniest moments in the movie, all thanks to Samuel L. Jackson's improvisation. During the scene where Fury and Keller examine the body of the Skrull who was impersonating Agent Coulson, Fury decides to take a peek underneath the alien. Samuel L. Jackson came up with the idea on the spot, driven by the curiosity that fits his character so well. Fury's natural reaction perfectly matches the agent's suspicious and sharp personality, making the moment even more amusing. The directors loved the improvisation so much that they kept the scene in the final cut.
Wow.
Peck touch. In Captain America, The First Avenger, Steve Rogers goes from a skinny young man to a super soldier with an impressive physique. The scene where he comes out of the transformation chamber became one of the most iconic moments in the MCU. For that, Chris Evans had to fully embrace the character, and his impressive physique definitely lived up to the comic book legend. When Rogers appears shirtless, Evans's defined muscles catch the attention, not just of the audience, but also of actress Hayley Atwell, who plays Peggy Carter. During filming, caught up in the moment, Atwell reached out and touched the actor's chest. The reaction was completely spontaneous.
You look taller.
Instead of removing the moment, the directors thought the gesture made the scene more natural and fun, so they kept it in the final cut. Later, Atwell joked in interviews that the touch was truly unplanned, joking that she couldn't resist the visual impact of Evans's physique. Throwing bread. In Spider-Man: No Way Home, Andrew Garfield's arrival in Tom Holland's universe creates one of the funniest and most unexpected moments in the movie. When Ned opens the portal, Garfield shows up and immediately makes MJ and Ned suspicious. They don't know if they can trust him, and the tense mood mixes with curiosity.
Superhero thing. Why'd you do that?
The scene where MJ throws bread at him to test his spider sense wasn't in the script. Zendaya spontaneously came up with the idea of throwing the bread, and the moment ended up being captured naturally and humorously. As Andrew Garfield reacts in surprise, the situation takes on an unexpected comedic tone. Zendaya's improvisation brought authenticity to Garfield's reaction, who had to adapt on the spot, making the scene even funnier.
Crawl around. Do it.
Thank you.
The little game. In Avengers Endgame, Tony Stark and Nebula are stuck in space, isolated and with no apparent hope of returning home. But instead of sinking into despair, the two find a curious way to pass the time, playing paper football.
That was close. That's a goal.
Actress Karen Gillan revealed that the entire sequence was improvised on set. The moment works perfectly, revealing a more human and unexpectedly funny side of Nebula, who up until then was known only for her rigidity and seriousness. Vision's death. Vision's death in Avengers. Infinity War is one of the most emotional moments in the MCU. With Thanos approaching fast, Wanda Maximoff is forced to destroy the Mind Stone to keep him from getting it, even if it means killing the man she loves. The scene carries a huge dramatic weight, and surprisingly, much of it was improvised by the actors themselves.
We are out of time.
I can't.
Yes, you can. I love you.
According to Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, the directors told them to improvise the entire time, with no predetermined lines. The idea was for them to deliver pure emotion, based on the deep connection between Wanda and Vision. Both were terrified by the responsibility, calling the experience scary. Despite the nerves, the result became one of the most powerful scenes in the film. The pain in Wanda's eyes, Vision's serenity, and the rising tension as Thanos gets closer turned this improvised moment into an emotional landmark in the saga. Heavy silence. In Spider-Man: No Way Home, everything reaches its climax at the Statue of Liberty, where Peter Parker and Doctor Strange face the consequences of the spell gone wrong. The relationship between the two had always been marked by a bit of irony, but there, with the world collapsing, the tone changes completely. During filming, Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland were struggling to find the right intensity for the scene. That's when Cumberbatch had the idea to add an unexpected reaction.
But this time, make everyone forget who Peter Parker is. Make everyone forget me.
No.
But it would work, right?
Yeah, it would work.
Instead of immediately accepting Peter's request to make everyone forget him, Doctor Strange hesitates. This improvised pause and doubt gave the moment much more emotional weight, showing that despite his cold demeanor, he genuinely cares about the boy. The choice made the scene more intense, marking one of the strongest moments between the two characters.
Do it. I'll see you around.
So long, kid.
Surprise punch. In Ant-Man, Scott Lang goes through a classic hero training session with Hope Van Dyne. Between jumps, falls, and well-delivered punches, one of the funniest and most spontaneous moments in the movie happens. While Hope teaches him how to fight, she lands a solid punch right on Scott's face, and his response comes afterward, completely improvised by Paul Rudd.
You want to show me how to punch? Show me.
That's how you punch. All right, princess. Let's get back to work.
Were you going for the hand?
The line, "Were you going for the hand?" wasn't in the script. Rudd tried several different jokes during filming, and that one ended up being the chosen one. The perfect timing and laid-back way he delivers the line fits Scott Lang's personality perfectly, an ordinary guy trying to deal with a situation completely outside his comfort zone. Beyoncé. The relationship between Stephen Strange and Wong is one of the funniest dynamics in the MCU. Right at the beginning of the film, when Strange is still adapting to the magical world, a moment happens that wasn't originally in the script. During filming, Benedict Cumberbatch started improvising a bunch of funny lines to provoke a reaction from Benedict Wong, who plays Wong. In one of those takes, Cumberbatch spontaneously said,
You're not ready for that. Try me, Beyoncé.
This caught Wong completely off guard. His serious and confused expression wasn't acting. It was his genuine reaction to the improvisation. The team liked the result so much that they decided to keep the line in the final cut. Later, the writers noticed how well the improvisation had worked and decided to expand the joke. In a later scene, Wong is calmly studying with headphones on, listening to Beyoncé's Single Ladies. I am Iron Man. In Iron Man, the movie's ending gave us one of the MCU's most iconic lines.
I am Iron Man.
At the moment when Tony Stark decides to reveal himself to the world, nobody expected the line to exist, and it wasn't even in the script. Robert Downey Jr. improvised the line completely, capturing Tony's irreverent and confident essence. Breaking the classic hero tradition of hiding their identity was shocking, but it instantly defined the character in a unique way. Kevin Feige, president of Marvel Studios, said that fans reacted immediately, and that Downey's improvisation inspired the team to feel free to adapt and evolve scenes over time. The moment not only perfectly wrapped up the first film, but also echoed years later in Avengers Endgame, giving the character a memorable conclusion.
Iron Man.
So, which one of these improvised scenes was the best? Andrew Garfield's "I Love You Guys" is one of my favorites. Drop yours in the comments. On the screen is a video where we show the biggest sacrifices in superhero movies. Click and watch. See you there.